Hey everyone, I know I've been MIA for a little bit, and usually when that happens, it's because something's going on with my dad, and I just can't focus on anything except for him. So I figured I'd jump on here and give you guys a little bit of an update about what's going on and where I've been. Not that anyone has to care about my dad or any dad for their own for that matter, but for those of you that know him and those of you that were asking, I'll give you an update. I think the last time you saw him, that vlog was May 4th, and he was getting ultrasounds done on his arm in preparation to put a fistula in for dialysis. We had just convinced him to try dialysis, and things are moving right along and looking hopeful. And now today is June 8th. And so 2 weeks ago, I'm at UPS and I get a phone call from the alarm company, and they're saying the medical alarm's going off and they're dispatching fire and ambulance to his property. And I think I'm like third down on the calling list, so if they're calling me, like something's not right. And so I called my mom to see what was going on, and she didn't answer. So then I was like, all right, nobody accidentally pressed that button, like something's going on. So I just grab my keys and I shoot over to his house, no questions asked. I just leave work and I go to his house. And I pull up and the fire truck's there and ambulance is there. And I go to the front door, but I can't get in because there's all kinds of people all up in the stairwell. So I just kind of, back up and try to stay calm until I find out what's going on. And eventually I see him coming down the stair lift, and he's got his arm in a sling and he is just like crying out in pain. So apparently he was walking from his bedroom to the bathroom and didn't ask for help, and he fell and he landed on his arm that was going to have the fistula, landed on his arm and broke it. And if you follow me on Facebook, you saw the picture I posted of it. And the arm is just, it's broken. They get him in the ambulance and they take him to the hospital. And on the ambulance ride there, they gave him fentanyl for the pain. And then once he got to the hospital, they gave him more fentanyl and morphine. And he ended up staying in the ER for about like 4 days. And then at that point, he had begun throwing up, like very badly, a lot. And it was a dark, dark brown liquid. So over the course of his time in the ER, when they're treating the arm, whatever they were doing for it, it pushed his kidneys from stage 4 kidney failure into stage 5, which is the end stage. Done. Like the kidneys are shot at that point, stage 5 done. So then he had to go to the ICU, and they ended up putting a catheter in his neck to do emergency dialysis. And he stayed in the ICU for about, I think it was like 3 or 4 days. And then they moved him to another room once he was kind of stable. And they have since taken the port out of his neck and put a permanent one in his chest now, and he has been doing dialysis daily. I'm just trying to get through this. Doing dialysis daily, and he stayed in that room for about a week. And then just yesterday, they moved him to a different floor, which he can do rehab and physical therapy there in addition to the dialysis. His arm is still broken, still in a sling. I'm not sure what the plan is for the arm there. I know they were waiting for the swelling to go down. They couldn't cast it. They couldn't set it, do nothing. So his arm is still in a sling. His hand is swollen. And for the majority of the time, he's just been heavily medicated and out of it. And dialysis takes a lot out of you. It makes you extremely tired. So it's very hard to go there and to visit him and see him. And, like, he's not there. Like, you can't talk to him. He doesn't even know you're there. And one of the last few times that I did go there, he woke up, but he was very confused. He didn't know. He thought he was at home. And like on the wall in the hospital. There's a board that says St. Joe's, and they write all the stats on it and stuff. And he kept asking, he's like, "Did you bring that? Who brought that here? Who brought that here?" And we're like, "What do you mean? Like, who brought what?" He thought he was at home and somebody had brought that. And I'm like, he was so confused. He didn't know anything. He didn't know where he was. Um, and I want to assume that it was just being from all the medication and stuff. But they did do a CAT scan and MRI on his brain and his neck to make sure he didn't do anything when he fell. But they think that he did have a seizure at some point, and that might be contributing to the confusion. He was on a liquid diet for a little bit over a week. He was only having like apple juice, ginger ale, jello, protein shakes, and he was not really interested in having any of that. It's hard to get him to eat. He's still not really eating at all. So they just moved him yesterday to another floor where they can do physical therapy and occupational therapy, and he has that like 3 or 4 times a day in addition to a dialysis. And I haven't gotten to see him yet because the dialysis is like 4 hours at a time, and they're not allowed to see him while he's doing it because he's not in his room. He's like in a different area, like his dialysis days and everything. And with my work schedule, it's not lining up, and I haven't gotten to see him yet since the last time he's been moved. So it's just been very hard, you know. I miss my dad, and I just wish I could talk to him, and I can't even like hug him because he's got 2 bad arms. Like, one arm is in a sling, broken, painful, swollen, and his other arm is okay. He's always had a slight bone on bone tear in his shoulder just from 19 years at UPS unloading trailers. Like, he gets worn out. So now he's got 2 bad arms, 2 bad legs, and I wish I could just like hug him and hold him, and you can't because he's broken. And the last time that I was there, like, to go visit him, he was out sleeping, didn't even know I was there, and it was just me there, and I laid down across his legs, and I just fell apart. It's just a lot to see him in that condition, and like, if that's the kind of life he's gonna just have now, is just always asleep and out of it, like, that's no way to live, and like, I feel so bad for him. And so I was just laying across his legs. That's the only thing I could like touch and not hurt him. And eventually my mom and my sister and my niece came, and they saw me crying. And I wish I didn't let my niece see me like that, broken down, because like, she's 11, and little kids, they need positive, strong adults around. Like, if they see an adult breaking down, then they get worried, like, oh. So I wish I didn't let my niece see me like that, but just couldn't help it. And she's a strong girl, takes after her mom. So it's just been hard, and I'm just trying to get through it one day at a time, and hopefully I get to see him soon and talk to him. And yeah, it just sucks. It just sucks. He's slowly getting better, very slowly. I don't know how long he's gonna have to stay in the hospital in the rehab. They originally were gonna put him in like a nursing home, just for like temporarily, because my mom needs help. She can't take care of someone with 2 bad legs and 2 bad arms, but they don't want to put him in a nursing home because he's just gonna be laying in a bed. So they're trying to do the rehab, and he's been cooperating, but of course with some resistance. For anyone that knows my dad, that's no surprise. and he's still not eating very well. So it's just difficult to get him to do anything to help himself, and it's just hard, but I'm getting through it. I'm keeping busy, trying to keep my mind off of things. You know, life goes on. I still got 2 dogs and 2 families and everything to take care of, and just doing the best I can one day at a time. So anyways, that's the update for now. I'll let you guys know if anything else new happens, but just taking it one day at a time, and hopefully I get to talk to him soon and see him, and hopefully I can bring him home eventually. But who knows when that will be. Alright, I'll catch up with you guys later.